Hello, Mr. Weinrich and class. My name is Tommy Bunch. I'm here to share my presentation on rising seas and the politics that come with it. The first slide is about local impacts of rising seas on specifically Florida. The first impact is tourism. Just a 1-inch rise will effectively flood tourist destinations along the Florida coast, such as Daytona Beach, Miami, and Tampa. A 3-foot rise would displace 1.2 million Floridians from their homes and also flood more tourist destinations as well. The second impact is wildlife. A 3-foot rise would leave the Everglades underwater, and also saltwater would get into all these freshwater marshes. So then the marshes would be uninhabitable for all the animals like gators, manatees, and etc. The last impact, but probably the least well-known impact, is the underground aquifer or the water table. With the rising sea levels, the aquifer also is rising as well, which leads to more flooding inland. And also, the salt water is getting into the aquifer as well, which would ruin the water supply for millions of Floridians. The next is the national impact of rising seas. The first is flooding, which is inevitable if climate change is not stopped or at least slowed down. The flooding would cover would flood New York City, Miami, Washington D.C., on all coastal cities along the eastern seaboard. And this would also leave more than 100 million people migrating inland, presumably without jobs. This would create a huge economic depression as many production plants and headquarters for companies would be underwater, and and companies would have to file for bankruptcy. Also, real estate would double or triple inland because all the people are moving there, which would leave many people broke, paying for loans because they wouldn't be able to pay for their houses. The last impacts are the global impacts of rising sea levels. The first is on infrastructure. Countries such as India, China, Germany, all are very big producers of goods, and all of them sit at very low sea levels, so they're very susceptible to flooding, which would leave a huge decline in goods produced. Also, many historical landmarks would be destroyed or underwater. These landmarks include Venice, the pyramids of Giza, New York, all over the world historical landmarks be destroyed, which leaves hundreds or even thousands of years of history also destroyed. The local solution to rising sea levels is Ron DeSantis must take action and not just admit that climate change is real. He should pass bills that, just like the one that was passed that that prohibits taxpayer money on projects that are threatened by rising sea levels. Also, another bill was passed and sent to him that creates a task force that is dedicated to combating rising sea levels and the effects that come with it. Another solution is the inland flood protection. There should be more storm drains put inland and not just on the coast. Also, they should pay attention to the water supply, as there would be lots of salt water getting into the water table. Last but not least, in the inland flood protection, they should rebuild the flood control over South Florida, as it is super outdated and the seas have risen almost 3 feet since the control system was introduced. The last but not least, this is the most important one for the local solution, is to make sea level projections. The sea level projections would be used to find out where to build seawalls at vulnerable spots or to raise roads that might be flooded in the near future. The national and global solutions. Politicians have to stop denying climate change, because if we want to stop climate change, everyone needs to agree, or else nothing will be able to get done. And the thing we need to do the most is a Green New Deal. We need to cut emissions by 2030, or else there will be irreversible damage to the ozone layer, which would make the ice melt and effectively raise the sea levels worldwide. And also, in this Green New Deal, billions of dollars should be set aside for shoreline protection, because we cannot let these millions of Americans get their houses flooded. And last but not least, the Paris Climate Agreement. Every country should sign this agreement and abide to the agreement, unlike many deals that were made before. And as I did a political view on the Rise and Seas topic, my members such as Bryce Wooten did an economic view, Max Schermento did an environmental view, and Cage Barton did a technological view to combat rising sea levels. Thank you.